everyone and welcome back to Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. We are here today for the new set, the collab set and the fourth set of the game, which is from Granblue Fantasy. You guys might know Granblue Fantasy, it is another title by Cygames, browser game released 11 years ago more or less, and I wouldn't call it very popular right now, but we do have a lot of spin-offs, the fighting game, the RPG game, which probably some of you have already played. So this entire set is about Granblue Fantasy. All the cards, etc. are characters from there. Even the spells feature a certain character. Now, I wouldn't say that the picks are all the popular cast, some are missing, like Narmaya for example, but they are quite delightful to look at, especially if you are a fan of Granblue Fantasy, or if you are trying to find a new game through Shadowverse, through those collabs. Today we are going to open around 30 packs, and then get one of the free decks that they are offering. There is actually quite an interesting choice of decks, but in both good and bad parts, because some decks are actually quite decent to pick, especially the Sword one. I think it is one of the best. Some are really bad, like the Dragon one. I don't like at all the cards that they chose, but more on that later. First, remember, if you want to support the channel, you can always leave a super thanks below any until launch video, or you can join the community as a lodge supporter by paying a monthly fee. Very thanks to Webowski, Moonlight and Mover for supporting the channel. I will also add some Shadowverse emotes in the future. The more slots we unlock, the more emotes we will get, so look forward to that. For now we have fun emotes like Kazumi Gonfi, which is one of my favorites from Priconne. Speaking of Priconne, I probably expect there to be a Priconne collab set in the future. Not sure when, but if I had to give an estimate, probably towards the end of February. At least within the end of February, I do expect there to be a Priconne set, which is why I'm not spending all this gold today, but just 15,000. I believe that's 30 bucks, which should be enough for today's opening. Also, another news, since some of you love the Shadowverse Worlds Beyond story, there is no new story. As you can see, it is still Kaori's chapter over here, probably because of the collab. So, speculation here, but probably when we get the collab sets, they will skip a chapter of the story. So, I guess next time. I will try, however, to get some videos with the Take 2 mode, which opened during the last set, which is actually quite a fun mode. Basically, you make up a deck as you go, and especially with a new set, it is a very good mode to learn more about the new cards that are present in this new set. Okay. Enough talk, let's get into the shop and buy some card packs. This set features 8 leaders. We have Belial, Beelzebub and the 6 dragons, Wamdus, Wilnas, Luo, Galleon, Fediel and the cat, which name I will always forget. Obviously, this means that it is very much harder to get a leader that you want. And for the dragons, they do not have the avatar set for the park, and also are slightly budget compared to the other two, Belial and Beelzebub. I do have a suggestion if you care about leaders. The Battle Pass has Zeta, which is a character that you've probably seen both in Versus and as you can see, in Versus and in Rising. And also, I think, Relink. There we go. I was thinking Rises, instead it is Relink. So as you can see, I think it is a very good leader for a Battle Pass. So if you don't really want to spend into the set to get a ticket, she's a good alternative. Probably one that I will get myself. Anyway, let's start. As always, 10 packs guarantee you a legendary card. It is always good to get the packs and then choose the deck, since generally decks give you legendaries, they aren't really meant to play. And I have no idea how the ticket animation looks, because I heard that there is a new one. So let's see what we get. Catalina, she's one of the main group characters from Granblue. If I had to compare her to Priconne, basically the main guild. Neutral card, not crazy. Burn is another character also from the main cast, and is basically the Not or Fio or Amet of Granblue. And we have a Sandalphon, legendary card, also neutral. It will be probably a card that you will see a lot, because it works off the new archetype, or rather keyword, which is Skybound Art. Basically, whenever you have a card with Skybound Art in your hand, it will start counting the number of turns or the number of evolution that you have to reach either 10 if it is normal or 15 if it is super. When it reaches that count, it activates an extra effect. In Sandalphon case, for example, do this 5 times, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. There are some really good cards with Skybound Art, but obviously, as you can tell, waiting 10 turns or reaching 10 by doing turns plus evolution can be a little bit tricky. Not looking any... this card is really good, Chloe. She select a follower in your hand and summon it. Forest Craft. This can be really good to get a card in that costs more than 8 or do some crazy combo. Actually, I like her effect a lot. Forest has this evolve gimmick, which is tied obviously with the Skybound Art. So it is a class that I will want to try. The 3 decks that I had in mind today are Forest, Portal with Lishenna, and probably Aggro Sword. I think Sword will be very good. Like, there are cards like this one, Arthur, but it's more his friend Mordred, which is 2-1 with Storm. And obviously, the more Storm cards Sword gets, the more ammo to go face he has, which is pretty interesting. We haven't really seen a full aggro meta in Worlds Beyond yet. Probably don't think that we will in this one either, but I do think that Sword aggro can be pretty strong. Also, we have Hilsa, one of my favorites from Granblue. She's mainly big body with face damage or clears the board. Not a crazy card. Portal and Dragon got a little bit shafted aside from some legendaries. Still, I can see Portal doing work with Lishenna plus Beelzebub. I do think it is a combo that can work. Also, there is this guy, Feder. Cost 3, 5-4, no effect. Now, if you guys ever played aggro in Hearthstone or not Granblue, in Shadowverse, you know that cards like this can go really hard in a meta where control or late game is all the decks being played, because you play on 3 or on 2 if you have the coin, and then the enemy has to answer, because this card can deal 5 damage, so if they do not answer, that's 1/4 of their health gone. Not only that, Sword now has a 5 cost magic which can give double attack to your leftmost minion, among other effects. So it can get really crazy. Okay, I think... No, okay, this is Z and Bea, which is very nice since I'm trying to build aggro sword. Okay, 2 gold and 1 legendary, that's not bad. Alchemic Flare is hinting that we might see a more burst spell, which is something scary considering that we just have late game and Earthright, which doesn't really work. Truth spell... Like, if you like Rayo, probably you run it, but it's not really that crazy, to be honest. Zed and Bea are very good. Basically, you can play them as a 4-3-2 with Rush, or as a 6-3-2, summon another 3-2, give one Bane, give the other Storm, which is pretty good, because obviously you can evolve the other, and you have a 5-4, or even better, a 6-5, which can go face. Which is always nice, obviously, if you are running an aggro deck or anything similar. Okay, those are our first 10 packs. Obviously, we have seen most of the cards. The set isn't huge, as you might imagine, but you get a roundabout idea of what it's like. Let's see the second pool. Okay, we have only 1 legendary. Not as crazy as the pack opening for the second set, but maybe we get a ticket in the next one, who knows. Neon, okay, Neon is a crazy card. I actually made an OTK with Neon, which I will be posting right here. Now I'm not seeing it, but you guys will see it in the post-production, which uses ghosts, rather the tombs that the tomb artifacts that you put on board, and Neon. It is a little bit roundabout to get as an OTK, but I do like it a lot. And the effect is evolve all unevolved allied followers on the field, deal 2 damage to your leader. So this can be a card for either aggro, mid-range, or even mod, depending on how you want to use him. Obviously, the 2 damage dealt to your leader are negligible because he has Drain, and he always evolves himself, so it is plus 2 health to your leader, which is pretty nice. The evolve all unevolved allied followers pairs up real well with cards like the Crips, which summons 2 ghosts without having to pay. Obviously you have to play it earlier, but it is interesting combos to think about. I really like Neon as a card because it is basically that angel which requires you to evolve her, and she evolves everyone, but at a better cost, better effect, with also healing. I do think that it is pretty nice. We have Meg, probably one of the worst gold cards in the set. She evolves if you trigger SKYBOUND Art, so you want to play her late. Good for ramp, maybe, but the payback is just that you get a 5/4, like late into the game, you know, not that crazy to be a gold in my opinion, especially when you compare gold from other classes. Chaos Legion, card that I want to run in Lishenna. Can deal 6 damage to all enemies, which means the leader as well. Super SKYBOUND Art, so you need to reach 15, so 10 turns plus 5 evolve, or more evolves if you run an evolve deck. Can be quite tricky, but I do think it can be interesting card in the Lishenna deck going forward. Then this other gold, not really that crazy, this mod effects, you can activate them all if you trigger SKYBOUND Art. It can be good in Evolve Forest, but the payoff, like, it's good if you get a lot of pixies on the board, you buff them all, and you also draw. But, there are some gold that are really crazy, like the gold from Sword is just insane. I have no idea how Sword keeps getting those insane cards. Like, Ultra Value should be legendary in my opinion for what it does, but it is what it is. Another Alchemic Flare, very nice. Let's see the legendary. Okay, UL and Societe, very nice. Okay, that's a legendary I wanted to get. So UL and Societe work on a Forest Craft Evolve deck. If you super evolve them, they give you a crest, which every turn, when you play a follower, you evolve it. So you basically get a free evolve for 4 turns with this crest. You can get multiple UL and Society in your deck, so it can become 4, 8, not 12 because you can't replenish Super Evolve, but 8 free evolves are pretty nice for a Skybound deck for sure. I'm curious to see how the Skybound deck does. I really hope that it does well. We had a meta with crest, spell boost and mod. I would like to see something different. I know that they nerfed Benison, which was a long time coming in my opinion. They didn't nerf anything for spell, so I do hope that spell gets nerfed through new decks. That's the one thing you hope for with new sets, that they usually rotate out all the meta decks through new cards, but not always the case, let me tell you that. Okay, last 10 packs. Now let's see if we get a ticket. Probably not. Okay, nothing too crazy. Let's see at least which legendary we got. So what legendary would I like to get? We got one Sandalphon, always nice to get the neutral. I would like to get Beelzebub, because I'm going to craft him regardless. Another Sandalphon, that's pretty decent all in all. Card that you will want in any Skybound deck, so it is pretty decent. Ah yes, this is a 4/15 at 6 for Wardhaven. I have a friend who likes to play Haven cards. I'm not really sure if Wardhaven will beat this meta, but it will be interesting. Here we have Gran and Cheetah, which is the protagonist that you can pick in Granblue Fantasy. Mod card plus Skybound Art, which is pretty nice since they auto-evolve, so they immediately give you a +1 for Super Skybound, since obviously you need the Skybound to evolve. And they either deal 5 damage to random enemy follower or they draw 2 followers. Pretty decent neutral gold in my opinion. You can either tutor to draw some followers, especially if you run a deck that is mainly spells and nothing else. I do think cards like this are very nice. There is Lyria, which is an even better tutor card. Like, she costs 2, can be enhanced to 8, and draws a card that costs 7 or more, and restore 7 play points. So you can use her to draw Odin or Auguri Cap if you have the skin, and then deal a lot of damage to the enemy, which is pretty insane. She will be probably another main stain like a Sandalphon past this deck for sure. Okay, no golden that I really need. Okay, nice, another Chaos Legion. That one I do need, because it is a pretty valuable gold for the deck that I'm trying to make. And my friends, okay, so could have gone worse, I guess. Let's use those 2 packs to get the guaranteed legendary, actually, since I do have them. Let's see at least what we get. Okay, another Gran Cheetah Premium, which is nice. Obviously, getting a premium card is always good. Fediel, there we go. Now, I would love to get her skin, but as I said, I'm not going to waste those reserves that I have for the Priconne set. She will be the one skin that I want, other than Galleon, but I would like Fediel first, for sure. Okay, now that we open the packs, I will say we go and check out the decks. Want to check out every single one of them, I will tell you a little bit about each, since I've seen them before. So, Officer's Warcraft. Best deck that you can pick in my opinion, has a lot of good legendaries. Let's see if we can see the card list from here. Okay, very good. So you get 1 free Gildaria, 1 free Seophon, 1 free Knight Ardor. Those 3 cards already have insane value to get for free. Seophon probably the least valuable because I'm still on a fence on him, but he's kinda decent effect for sure. Gildaria and Knight Ard, very good cards. And you also have a Golden Knight, very good golden card. Probably not on the same league as 2 legendaries and Knight Ardor, but still very good. So, all in all, this is probably the best deck that I will pick from here. Then we have Ramp Dragonfrath. This deck is bad, like, the deck is bad, but then you have Wilnas, this gold that is basically steal a card from the enemy, Azuri Ifrit, and the Ferocious Flame. Like, you know, out of those 4, the best is actually Ferocious Flame in my opinion, so do not get this deck at all. Like, you can get better just by opening the packs for sure, which can be true for any deck, but in this case, like, whatever. Okay, we have opened Wardave, and this is actually also kind of decent. You get a free Wilbert, a free Galleon, and a Delafil Gleaming Gems, which is a very nice amulet, admittedly, and also a Tigo. Tigo isn't that crazy, but for Galleon and Wilbert, I would say this one is a pretty good deck as well. Evolution Forest. Now, this one, like, I think that it is decent. You get 1 Ewiviar, 1 Krull, 1 Kubidan, and 2 Congregants, and 1 Alzheimer. But I would say the main prize here is probably the Krull and the Congregant. Like, I like the Evolve cards for Forest, but I'm not really sure if it works. Meanwhile, I've seen that Izudia OTK is actually used in tournaments, and Congregant is really good, as is Krull. So this one I would say slightly worse than the Heaven one, but not by a lot. Still, the Dragon one is just bad. Okay, Abyss. Abyss is very good. You have Cerberus, Fediel, Nean, Corruption, and 2 of the spell mode card, which is very good. I will say this one probably the second best, if not even, I will say on par with Sword. Sword has better value overall. This one is very good, but like, it is a mix of mod cards and the mid-range cards, which can work. Obviously, they do kind of work together, but I would love if it wasn't Cerberus, but another legendary. That's probably my main gripe with it. Still, second best for sure. Portalcraft, I think this one, if I recall, it was also kinda bad. Yeah, okay, so now, I love Orkis, but I would expect by set 4 that everyone has 3 Orkises, like, for sure. Chaos Legion, as I said, Probably good in Lishenna, but not the craziest card. Gran and Cheetah, good neutral card, still not Portal, so okay. Then you have Luo, which is good in Lishenna, not sure how good in Puppet. Like, without Beelzebub, his effect isn't really that crazy. Basically, he stalls storm cards from killing you, so it is good if you are setting up a little late into the game. But I'm not really sure. Like, this one I would say it is slightly worse than Forest. Like, I don't really like the pick of Legendaries either. Spell Runecraft, now this one I think it was as bad as Dragon, because there was something that made me bad about it. Okay, Anengrea, same situation as with Orkis. By set 4 you probably have 3 copies of those cards, because they are extremely good. Then you have the Golden, Helmut, Homework Time, like this one also you probably have 3 copies, and this one is... it's not bad. But it's not really a card that I would call golden in terms of value. And you have Wamdus, which is probably one of the legendaries from this set that I think hasn't really convinced me. She spell boosts your hand, and on spell boost she gets a +1/+1. It seems good on paper, but then you remember spell boost already has a game plan set out for them, so you will need to build a spell boost specifically to make Wamdus work. Will it be a good spell boost deck? I'm not so sure. So, to recap. Best deck, Officer, followed by Abyss. Then third, I will say Wardhaven is really good. Then Forest, then Portal, then Spell, and then Willness with Ramp, which is still a pretty bad deck. I don't know why they are doing this. So for me, who do I want to get? So we got one UL and Societe, and I do want to get more goals for Forest. So it's either between Forest or Abyss for me. Not really Sword, because Sword, like, I want to play aggro, and obviously I would need Nightly Ardor, but Seophon and Gildaria, I'm not really sure yet whether I want them in my aggro deck. Meanwhile, for both Forest, Abyss, and Portal, most of the cards I will probably use. So I'm probably going with Abyss, since... actually, no, let me think. I do not have Cruel, so I think I probably will go with the Forest, since it has more legendaries that I don't have. Okay. That's my pick for the deck. Obviously, you guys choose the one that you prefer. I just give you an evaluation in terms of which one is the best in cohesive terms from the cards you get. But if you need a specific card, etc., just pick the deck that you want. Still, it is all free, which is probably the best part. We'll have a collab dungeon. We will get... okay, we get the chest event again. Very nice. I love it a lot, not really. And then we have all the other stuff from the collab, which is very nice. As I told you, probably we will try some Take 2, but not today. And now I'm going to play a lot and see how those decks perform. For today, this is it. Thank you very much for watching. As usual, remember to smash that like button or that subscribe button. If you want to support the channel, remember that you can use the Super Thanks feature or the Gem feature to leave a donation below your favorite Anti-Lodge video, or to become part of the community as a Lodge supporter. In January, late January or February, I will get a set of Shadowverse Worlds cards with Priconne. Not really sure I'm planning to do it with a video, live stream, etc., but I want to open it on the channel, since obviously we have a lot of Shadowverse and Priconne fan. So look forward to it. Might happen, might not happen, I will let you know. For now, I will see you for card pack opening in the next set, unless it is not the Priconne set, in which case I might even consider skipping just to save, because I am so sure that the Priconne set will come by the end of February, if it's not the next one, the one after, that I want to save. Like, I want to be sure that we do a big opening whenever Priconne gets this same treatment of a collab, which is very, very nice. Anyway, for today this is it, and I will see you next time. Have good pack openings, my friends. Bye!